Lynsey on an all-new Dr. Phil. Is her daughter being controlled by her best friend?
She will tell her, "You are stupid, an idiot."
You said, "I admit I'm verbally abusive."
I like to yell, but it's just out.
You're a bully. You have 2 children. Custody of neither.
I would like it if we did not talk about my children.
I'll bet you would.
Yeah, I would, because it has nothing to do with Shayla and I.
I think it has everything to do with it.
I don't think it does.
You can be as condescending with me as you want. You don't intimidate me one bit. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Rachel had high hopes for her daughter Shayla, with dreams of her graduating college, getting into the medical field, marrying a smart, handsome man, and becoming a mother. But Rachel says those dreams were shattered when her daughter met Destiny. Now, Rachel says her best friend forever is more of a BFD than a BFF. Best friend disaster. Ever since they became roommates 2 months ago. Shayla has now dropped out of college, and her mom says she is more of Destiny's servant than sidekick. She believes her daughter is belittled, bruised, and beaten down, all because of her so-called bestie, Destiny. Take a look.
I despise my daughter's best friend, Destiny. She has manipulated Shayla since the age of 10, 11. That's when they started becoming friends. She has brainwashed Shayla into believing that she's her only friend. Shayla's just her main focus. And when Shayla is gone, it's that continual calling and texting that makes me realize how obsessed she is with Shayla. Destiny diminishes her self-esteem. She will tell her, "You are stupid, an idiot, lazy." When Destiny's unhappy with something that Shayla does, she gets right in her face. She will point. She will scream. The arms are flailing. "You need to do this. You need to do that." Every word is a horrible swear word that I can't even repeat. Destiny is abusive. I know that Shayla is afraid to go home sometimes, just in fear of physical violence. When Destiny and Shayla decided to move in together, Destiny was trying to get rid of everything that Shayla owned. Shayla had grabbed something that she wanted to keep. Destiny said no. Shayla actually stood up to her and said, "I'm keeping this." And Destiny got an inch from her face and said to her, "If you ever talk to me in that tone again, I will knock your head off." Destiny has been violent in the past with my youngest daughter. She hit her in the nose hard enough to make her cry, and scared enough for her to call me on the cell phone crying, hiding outside in the bushes. Destiny is completely unstable, and I have no idea how out of hand it could get with Shayla. Destiny is the devil.
Okay, so tell me your goal. What's your goal today? What do you want to achieve?
My goal is for Shayla to actually get help to understand that this isn't a normal relationship. Right now, she feels that this is a normal relationship. She says this is all she knows. So she thinks that this is how she's supposed to be treated. She doesn't understand that she's never been in a relationship before. This is the first relationship she's been in. And she truly believes that this is normal.
Okay, and you think she believes it's normal because she saw you in an abusive relationship?
Exactly. If she had seen me in an abusive relationship, I probably didn't get out as soon as I should have. Okay. And she has actually said to me, "Mom, this is all I know."
So, do you think she knows intellectually it's not right?
I think she does know somewhere that it's not right, but she's just looking for acceptance at this point. And she received acceptance in the past, so she just keeps looking for that. So, I've been trying to get her to figure this out. I do not want her wasting so many years of her life like I did.
Okay, but how old is she?
She's 20.
And that's significant because?
She's got so much ahead of her.
Well, no, it's significant because she's now an adult legally.
Yes.
Which means you've become an influencer instead of a director. When she was 15, 16, 17, you could say, "You can't do this, you can't do that. You can't be with this person, you can't go there, you can't do this, you can't do that." once she hits 18, as parents, we become influencers, right?
Right.
That's all you can do. She can tell you, no, I'm not going to do what you want me to do. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Exactly.
And so now you have to influence, inspire, get her to do things in some way rather than be able to just dictate it.
Exactly.
Okay, and so you said one of the things you want to do is you want me to get her, you said two things. You want me to help her understand that this is not a normal relationship, but you've already told her that, and she's quite bright.
Yes.
You've already told her that, but she just isn't grasping that. Sometimes if it comes from somebody other than a parent.
If she's hearing it from you, who is, in my opinion, a very esteemed expert, maybe she will do something about it. Maybe she'll understand. It's not just me. And, you know, she's lost, I mean, there's so many friends that she had that aren't allowed to talk to her, aren't around to be around her, and family members.
And then also, you say she has a problem with self-worth and self-esteem.
It's terrible.
Because if she had good self-worth, if she had good self-esteem, then she wouldn't put up with the way she's being treated.
Exactly.
So let's talk about how you think she's being treated. You say that Destiny forces her to do chores.
Yes.
Right? So that's why you say she's more of a servant.
Yes.
You say that she calls her names.
All the time.
Like what?
You are a stupid idiot.
She calls her fat,
she calls her dumb,
a bitch, she calls her everything you could imagine.
Yeah, she doesn't do anything at home.
Demeans her.
Yeah, it's just nonstop.
And you say
nagging.
she's insecure, controlling, and jealous. She like goes through her phone.
Goes through her phone.
There's a message from you, she'll erase it.
Shayla will
she's
erase
trying
messages from
to
me.
isolate her from you.
Yes.
Destiny wants you out of the picture.
Basically.
I wrote down, she said, she hopes you die, and when you do, she'll spit on your grave.
That's what she said. She flicked a lit cigarette in my face and said, I hope you die. I will spit on your grave. And this was right after I found out that I had an illness.
Destiny tells us that she's not controlling, that you're the controller.
Completely not true.
She says you are a controlling psycho bitch.
I've heard her say it before.
Yeah, and that you threw all of your daughter's clothes out.
I did
like
not.
Out the door, like out onto the...
That is not true. She had clothing and things that she had brought when she came to stay with me for 4 or 5 days. It was in my trunk. Shayla made it clear that she was going to stay with Destiny and that they were going to start a relationship. And
did you throw their clothes out?
I took them out of the trunk. I put them on the side of the boulevard for her to get right where I was parked so that she could bring them back into the apartment.
Well, okay, so who are we talking about here? These two girls have actually been friends since they were 10. But then they've moved in together and becomes roommates, and the game changed. When we come back, what's really going on with these two? We'll meet them. We'll be right back. You said you want an apology from her.
Yeah.
Have you called her a psycho bitch?
Yes, I have.
You said she was vindictive and evil and jealous.
Yes.
And later, let me tell you, you can be as condescending with me as you want, and you have all the problems that you want to have with authority, but you don't intimidate me one bit.
You don't intimidate me either.
Monday on an all-new Dr. Phil. They're identical twins.
You loaded your profile on a sugar baby website.
I did not know what it was.
You look exactly like me. What if they think it's me?
But their attitudes
My sister's considered the good twin.
couldn't be more different.
Police arrived at the house after your DUI.
I was so drunk.
You don't have the right to drink and drive.
Gotten it under control. I don't need another lecture, thanks.
That's Monday.
For the past several months, Destiny has been involved with some very high-risk situations involving men that she has met online. She has invited these men over to the apartment. They're people that Shayla doesn't know, and they're staying there till all hours of the night and into the morning, drinking, smoking weed. Shayla thinks she needs to be there because that's what Destiny wants. Destiny is putting Shayla in danger, and it is scary.
Well, Rachel wants to put a stop to her daughter's friendship with Destiny, who she says is controlling, violent, and abusive. Now, you two have been watching the show from the top, right? Mm-hmm. So, Shayla, let me start with you. What do you think about your mother's opinion and her involvement in your situation here?
I think that I'm an adult and I should be able to make my own decisions, but I also think that a lot of the things that she's saying are only partially true. Like some of the stuff is getting twisted somehow, and it's just not true.
Mm-hmm. Destiny, is she characterizing you accurately?
No, not at all.
What's missing? What's off the mark here?
I'm not controlling by any means. I do support Shayla on the decisions that she makes. I don't want Rachel out of her life. I would never do that. I am a mother. I would not approve of my child wanting to run off and have me completely out of her life.
Have you called her a psycho bitch?
Yes, I have.
You said she was vindictive and evil and jealous.
Yes, that is correct.
That is not correct.
You okay?
And she called CPS on you and tells them drug lies and all that?
No. She calls social services and informs them that they need to drug test me because I'm smoking pot, which they already drug test me. They already know that I smoke pot, so I don't feel like that is any of her concern to call in. They're already on top of it.
Well, I'm concerned about your children and the children
they
possibly
already know
into this situation. And that
don't you think that they would have already checked that, though?
But they're not with her right now.
Yeah, they're not even with me right now.
Right, because she's not doing anything. She's not taking the steps to get them back.
So what you want today, because I asked all three of you what you wanted. You said you want an apology from her.
Yeah.
For
harassing me, dragging me out to LA to be on this show.
I forced you to come on the show?
No, I did it for Shayla because that's what she wanted to do. But you also made the call, found out that we were going, and still told Shayla not to tell me.
I'm pretty sure that the call was supposed to be made to you to get you on the show, or else that Shayla was supposed to speak to you about it, not me.
Okay.
Do you want to be here?
Kind of.
Do you not? Do you not want to be here?
I don't know. I get really nervous.
You know, to be nervous about. I just want to know if there were things. Do you think you're in an abusive relationship?
I don't.
You don't? Do you think you're an abuser?
No.
Really?
Really?
Because you told us you were.
I'm not abusive. I like to try to help guide.
You told us you were abusive.
When did I ever say I was abusive?
Well, when we talked to you in your pre-interview, you said, I admit I'm verbally abusive.
I mean, yeah, I like to yell, but it's not to Shayla. It's just out.
What, didn't you say, I admit I'm verbally abusive and I need to get help with that?
No. I didn't say that I'm verbally abusive and that I need to get help.
You don't think you are verbally abusive?
I think that I yell too much, but it isn't at Shayla. It's not to Shayla. It's just I yell. That is just the type of person I am. And I don't think that there is like counseling to be like, hey, you need to lower your voice.
Did you tell our field producer that I know I'm verbally abusive, but I apologize?
I mean, if I've ever abused Shayla, then yes, I've apologized if I felt like I was being abusive. But I don't feel like I don't feel since Shayla and I have been together, like dating, that I have ever abused her. No.
Why did you say that to the field producer?
I didn't say that since we've been in a relationship that I've abused Shayla. Yeah, I yell, I scream. Sometimes I go off the deep end and I'm just like, seriously, you're an idiot. Yeah, sometimes, but I am also like, you know that I don't mean it.
See, this is what I'm dealing with.
Don't even get me started on what I'm dealing with, honey.
Really? Well, you're well aware that...
I have a lot of stuff that you have done that has Shayla in tears, and who has to consult her.
Let me tell you what just happened. I was just talking to her to try to figure out whether or not we really had abuse in this relationship that we could focus on and put on a to-do list to eliminate. And you decided to make a comment which allowed her to deflect me dealing with that, so you two started having a back and forth. So you just totally rescued her. I'm sure she's grateful.
Not my intention.
No, I'm sure she's grateful to you for it, because we were focusing on whether there was something that maybe she could improve herself on, and I was asking her questions, and she was doing her best to dodge, but I'm not easy to dodge. But you saved her.
It's unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
Do you think she's abusive?
I don't think she is.
Didn't you go to the rape and abuse center?
Yes, I did.
And report that she was abusive?
Carl poured freezing cold water on me while I was in bed.
He has a black belt.
You say he tried to gouge your eye out.
Gouge her eye?
She's had bruises.
I don't try and hurt you. I just try and stop you from doing anything to me.
She's charging you like a bull? Is that what you're saying? And you're having to take her down?
Yeah.
She's ready to marry a stranger, and now cops show up at her door.
I'm terrified that my grandma's going to go to jail.
You won't believe the twist in this alleged catfish story.
Where is this mystery man?
We found him. He's here today.
A convicted hospital worker.
I saw Jameson committing a sexual act with his patient.
What he's saying is wrong. She grabbed a hold of my shirt and pulled me towards her.
Could this have happened the way he said?
Absolutely not.
But did you actually see the sex act taking place?
From homemaker...
My mom is a party mom.
...to divorced with 2 DUIs.
100 miles an hour with the cops chasing her. Slammed into a wall.
It's enough to drive anybody crazy.
You're saying I'm not sure why they have the opinion of me being a party girl? Maybe it's because you're a party girl. Well, here's the thing. Do you think she's abusive?
I don't think she is. I think she yells sometimes. Like, she doesn't yell often, and it's only if, like, if she's asked me to do something like,
Didn't you go to
times.
the rape and abuse center?
Yes, I did.
And report that she was abusive?
I did not.
What did you do?
I went there because my mom asked me to go there because I told her I had a panic attack, and she said that I was repressing something and I needed to be seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think you should be called an idiot?
Well, no.
I mean, do you think that's normal in a relationship?
No. It was a long time ago. I mean, she hasn't called me names recently, and if she's called me names, we call each other names, like, joking.
I have a definition of abuse that I think both of you should look at, because I suspect you've been on both ends of this along the way. But this is from the Aspire Initiative, which is my wife Robin's program that she's put together for people that find themselves in these situations. And definition of abuse: physical abuse, obviously. That's any intentional use of physical force with the intent to control a partner. Emotional or verbal abuse, that's an attempt to control a partner through manipulation of their self-esteem, their sense of personal security, relationships with others, or their perception of reality. Often it results in the victim feeling worthless and responsible for the abuse. So emotional and verbal abuse, it's the attempt to control a partner through the manipulation of their self-esteem or their security. So if somebody's calling you names and putting you down by telling you those things, that's abuse. They never lay a hand on you, but if they're demeaning you, putting you down, saying you're worthless, you're ignorant, you're stupid, you're inept, you're incompetent, that's abusive. Do you agree that that's abusive?
Yes.
Do you agree that that's abusive?
Yeah.
And you lived with that, right?
Yes.
You agree that that's abusive?
Yes.
So sexual abuse, of course, impacts the ability to control their sexual activity. Digital abuse is a form of emotional verbal abuse that uses technology, like if they're sending you messages or whatever, demanding passwords, checking cell phones, controlling your cell phone, taking it away from you, cutting you off from being able to freely contact for others or be contacted for others. Because the #1 tool of the abuser is isolation. So they cut you off from resources, family, friends, church, community, neighbors. If they're getting your passwords, checking your cell phone, any of those things, does that go on between you two?
The only time she's ever had my phone is if she's asked me if she can use it, or I've let her call somebody, or something like that.
Which doesn't usually happen because I usually have my phone.
And if you go off without one another, is there any of this blowing up the cell phone with?
It goes both ways. If she leaves, I text her too. We don't like being by ourselves.
If you go off with your mother or your little sister or something like that, does she blow up your cell phone?
She'll text me and like see what's going on and see if I know when I'm coming back, but I do the same to her.
And then financial abuse, the use of finances or access to finances to control a partner. It can involve hiding accounts, hiding debt, giving you an allowance, getting you in a situation where you can't afford to be apart because you have to be together. So a lot of people think of abuse as just getting hit, but it's a lot of different things. So as you look at that, do either of you think you're in an abusive relationship?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Y'all are in a romantic relationship.
Yes. I love this girl to death.
Well, I'm confused. You're married, right?
Yes.
Okay, and here are the warning signs. It's often an abusive relationship. There are signs that are consistent. Quick involvement, extreme jealousy, controlling, threats of violence, abrupt mood changes, verbal abuse, breaking things, use of force, and a history of past battering. As you go down that list, would you check any of those off?
I know that I'm super jealous. Like, I get super jealous. But, I mean, no. Other than that.
Destiny says her main problem with you is that you're ignorant.
A lot of times I don't think before I do things.
Your main problem with her is she's ignorant.
Is ignorance, yes. I have a problem with ignorance. I have a problem with people that don't think before they do stuff, don't think before acting. Like, I gave an example to them. Like, there was one time I asked Shayla to pick up a pair of socks that were on the floor that were hers. She picked them up and put them on the table. They don't belong on the table. Why would you put them on the table? Why wouldn't you put them in the basket? Like, little things like that bother me. Because I shouldn't have to go back and re-clean up what she was cleaning up.
Now y'all are in a romantic relationship.
Yes.
Whose idea was that?
It was both of ours. We sat down and talked about it for like 6 hours on if we wanted to be in a relationship or if we wanted to just stay at best friends.
Do you think it's a good idea?
I think it's a perfectly fine idea. I mean, it hasn't really had any problems other than the fact that Rachel won't accept it.
Do you think it's a good idea?
It was my idea first.
Well, you say you think it's a fine idea, but you told us that you would rather not be in a romantic relationship with her.
If I had my way 100%, I don't think that it would have been smart to be in a romantic relationship, just for the fact that we have been best friends for 12 years. It is hard to switch the emotions from friends to romantic relation. Like,
but you would rather not be in a romantic relationship with her.
I love being in a relationship with her. I love this girl to death. I just don't understand why it has to be as soon as we start dating, we end up on this show saying that I'm so abusive. I mean, she's only came to me twice with stuff that has bothered her, and I will honestly say I have been abused by this woman right here.
Well, I'm confused, because you say your biggest flaw with her is that she's ignorant. You tell us you don't want to be in a romantic relationship with her, that you would rather not. You have an active account on the internet where you describe yourself as straight and looking for dates.
We both have that. And it's not that we're looking for dates, it's that we are looking for people to hang out with and that we're looking for friends because we don't really have any.
But you're married, right?
I am currently going through a divorce.
So that's a yes?
Yes.
You're married. You've been pregnant 3 times. You have 2 children.
Correct.
You have custody of neither of them.
Not right now, no. But I don't believe that that's why we're on here.
Your children are not in your custody because they were taken away, so they're with your mother.
Yes, my husband shook my baby, hence why we are getting divorced. But once again, I do not feel like this is relevant to the show.
Well, but it's not your show.
Okay, then I don't want to be on it. I am not going to sit here and be talked down to by you about my children. My children have nothing to do with the show, and I would like it if we did not talk about my children on the show.
Yeah, I'll bet you would.
Yeah, I would, because it has nothing to do with the relationship between Shayla and I or the relationship between Rachel and I.
I think it has everything to do with it.
I don't think it does.
Your marriage is in the ditch, your children aren't with you, but she's ignorant. Really?
I'm getting divorced.
You can be as condescending with me as you want. Let me tell you, you can be as condescending with me as you want, and you have all the problems that you want to have with authority, but you don't intimidate me one bit.
You don't intimidate me either. I have never physically or emotionally abused Shayla.
Why don't you let her talk?
She doesn't just for no reason start yelling at me.
I'm not. Oh, they always have a reason.
Monday on an all-new Dr. Phil. A twin in trouble.
You loaded your profile on a sugar baby website. I did not know what it was.
You look exactly like me. What if they think it's me?
That's Monday.
You're here because you're a bully.
I'm not a bully. And I'm pretty sure if I wasn't even here, Shayla could vouch that I'm not a bully. I have never physically or emotionally abused Shayla. Yeah, I get verbal sometimes, but I don't, like, get in her face and scream in her face.
Why don't you let her talk?
Okay. Talk? I think that he wants you to talk. I don't know.
You need to understand, she's telling us she thinks you're ignorant. She doesn't want to be in a romantic relationship with you. She recognizes she's verbally abusive, but she thinks it's okay because she says she's sorry. I think you're in a situation where you feel like, you know what? I don't have a lot of options. It's kind of like, if I'm not with the person that's right, I'll be with the person that's right now. And that's a real bad way to go.
I don't think that's how
this is. And you don't have to be in a relationship to be okay.
No, I know. I've gone 20 years without being in a relationship. But I'm quite happy now.
Well, I really wonder if your definition of happy is relative to what you know and what you don't know. And what I would like for you to do is to really do some work on you individually, not with your mother. I don't want you to get in counseling with your mother. Okay, you don't need that. You've had 20 years of your mother, and I think you would agree that she's done some really good things, and she's done some things that you probably don't think are great. And you've known her for 12 years, and you guys have a relationship that is what it is. Mm-hmm. But what if, carved out for you, you had someone to talk to, a professional, that nobody had access to but you. You had the opportunity to talk to someone about anything you wanted to talk to, about self-esteem, self-worth, what's wrong, what's right, setting goals, kind of a life coach, life manager that helped you get what you wanted in your life. That couldn't hurt, could it?
No. I guess I don't understand how we went from her being abusive to me going to counseling.
I think that you're telling me that you think everything is fine, but yet you say your mother's over-controlling.
I think she's overreacting.
And she is, by both of your descriptions, kind of a yeller, volatile type, by her description and yours.
I mean, she doesn't just for no reason start yelling at me.
I'm not, they always have a reason. You may get into a counseling situation and they may say, you know what? You are the best adjusted, most focused person ever, and it would be a really short situation. And that would be very validating for you, be very confirming for you. They might say, you know, here are some things for you to work on. They might give you some strategies and some help for that in terms of, you know, career pursuits, educational pursuits, relationship management, any of those things. What in the world could it possibly hurt?
I'm not saying it could hurt anything. I guess I was just confused how we jumped subjects so fast.
It's not a jumping subject. It's all about you. Because as soon as I finish that sentence, I'm going to offer her the same thing, because she has 2 children that she doesn't want to talk about, but she needs a strategy and a plan for getting those children back in her life, and I think she needs some help affecting that. And there are forensic psychologists that work with the courts and can really put together a life plan to help you take the steps to get that done most effectively. And it's real hard to overcome the inertia when you're just out there floating around. But if you've got somebody that knows the system and can really help you check off the boxes and get the things done that you need to do and get yourself where you need to be to present yourself in a way that the court says makes sense, because the natural order of things is for children to be with their biological parent. And I would offer to get you someone to really help you put that together and get you moving in that direction, if you want that help.
I am more than happy to take the help.
But having a professional that knows that system and knows how to make that work can make a huge difference in getting it done.
See, like I said, I'm more than happy to take the help, but that isn't what's going to get me my kids back. Like, I still need the divorce. That is the biggest thing holding me back from getting my children, and that's something I can't afford.
Well, don't take the help.
Like I said, I'll take the help. I will take it, and I'll be grateful for it. But I don't feel like that is relevant to why we're here.
Then don't take the help. I withdraw the offer. We're done here. We'll be right back. We can't do this show without you, our studio audience.
If you are going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Because we have a lot of fun here, don't we?
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL. That's 323-461-7445.
You know, being controlled by an addictive substance is like being in the grips of a demon. Now, I've been cursed at, screamed at, and even flipped off by past guests while they were high on drugs. Take a look at some of my most memorable guests who were on the verge of losing everything because of their addiction. JL was one of the contestants on America's Next Top Model.
JL is using Vicodin, Oxycontin, cocaine.
Now she's a full-blown meth addict.
Get the everybody! Oh my God! Help me!
JL, come on out. The last time JL was on this show, she was high and scared.
I don't want to go in there with other people looking at me.
This is your chance. Have you had a better offer lately?
Never.
Now let's go get you better. After convincing her to save herself from what I believed was imminent death, she agreed to go to rehab. JL, come on out.
It is very ironic that Todd won the show Survivor. I wish that he knew how to survive in life.
I'm not scared. Dr. Phil.
Hi, I'm Todd.
What's going to happen to you if you keep drinking like you're drinking?
I'm gonna die.
I want to take you to that treatment center. We get you right, and then you come back out here and tell us how you're doing. Todd, come on out. What do you say, man? How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Todd is back to drinking approximately 2 liters of vodka a day.
Man, I've got a major drinking problem.
We're going to go to the airport, and we're going to hit the reset button and start this over, because I am not giving up on you, kid.
I'm not going to die, Todd. I can't. I won't.
I'm not proud of that, Mom.
He was a great kid, and then the drug use started.
You admitted to me that you've tried almost every drug except for LSD and heroin.
Did you lie to me to get me here? Answer my question.
You are the biggest liar in the group. He has agreed to head directly from here to the treatment facility. Tell us how you're doing.
That's over 50 days now.
It is a fatal disease. It is a progressive disease. It is resistant to treatment.
Get off of me! Might be okay.
If you choose to be okay, you will be. My attitude when you're dealing with addiction is you never surrender to the disease. You never give up. I invited Dr. Frida Lewis Hall, Chief Medical Officer of Pfizer, to join us today to help shed some light on addiction. So, Doc, welcome. This is tough.
Thank you. It is.
We have done countless interventions on the show, and each time you never know if an addicted person is going to accept help. And so we need to discuss addiction in our country, because I am so concerned about this, and I know you've studied it. How serious is it?
This is a serious and growing problem. Almost 22 million people in this country are addicted to alcohol or other drugs. If you add smoking cigarettes in there, it pushes the number up to 60 million people. 60 million. That's like saying everybody in California and Texas is addicted.
Wow. 60 million people?
60 million. And that's just the individuals. If you stop and think that it's not just a profound effect on the individual, but it affects families and the workplace and the community and society overall, this is really a serious issue. Yeah. People who are addicted to drugs and alcohol have a chronic, relapsing brain disease. Now, addiction is a brain disease because alcohol and other drugs hijack the brain's reward system. And this can lead to intense cravings. And if those cravings are not met, people experience physical withdrawal symptoms. They may include a rapid heart rate, feelings of anxiety. They can feel physically ill and nauseous, and in addition to that, may hallucinate.
Yeah, and I think it's important that people understand this is a brain phenomenon. Now, what increases the risk of addiction?
First of all, if you have a mental health disorder like anxiety or depression. Also, peer pressure, as well as experiencing traumatic life events. In addition to that, it seems the tendency for addiction can run in families.
Yeah, and the genetic component can really dictate who can, not who will.
Exactly.
Now, let's talk about treatment. The first step is breaking through the denial and recognizing you have an addiction, right? Because you're not going to ever change something you don't acknowledge. So you got to get through denial and recognize you have the problem.
And denial is really hard to get through. A lot of people think that this is just a bad habit or that it's a moral flaw of some sort. So getting past the denial, both for the family and friends as well as for the person who's addicted, is really a big deal. And once you make it past that denial, you have an opportunity to get to that first step, which is into treatment. And many people think that an intervention is an important way to start.
Right.
And that's when family and friends get together and help break through that denial wall. And intervention shouldn't be taken lightly. They should be carefully planned in concert with a doctor or with a trained addiction counselor.
Yeah, that's the thing. Timing and planning is really important. And I always start with the end in mind and work backwards. In other words, you have to have something for them to do at the end of that intervention before you ever begin.
Outpatient, inpatient rehabilitation, individual group therapies, combinations of those things. You cannot give up. This is a disease that is chronic and relapsing.
Well, that's just part of it. So talk about relapse.
So estimates have it that 40 to 60% of people who complete treatment may experience a relapse. So acknowledge the relapse, try and figure out what it was that contributed to that so that you can avoid it next time.
My family, my father was an alcoholic and Robin's father was an alcoholic, so it's genetically predisposed on both sides of our family. But yet our kids have not seen us struggle with it, so we've really had to educate them from way before they ever got to a situation where they might engage with alcohol. So that early education was so important.
Absolutely. Education and early, especially if there's a family history of addiction. So we've tried to pull some of that together on gethealthystayhealthy.com,
right.
Including some of the early warning signals or signs that someone may be struggling with addiction.
Yeah, you've got to recognize it for sure. I want to thank all of my guests today, especially Dr. Frida Lewis Hall. And again, it's gethealthystayhealthy.com. We'll see you next time. Frida, thank you so much. Thanks, guys.